Secretariat on the outside. Champion Alphabet Soup has scored a shocking upset.
Yeah, motivated on focus. This is the moment. Gotta one up my opponent.
Games absolutely punishing them.
Gotta get it the mindset, gotta put it in motion. Game time, that I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, man, they can't keep up. The game's on the line, seconds on the time. Who can't fight? It's gotta be us.
But the mighty Philly has devastated them.
Motivated on focus.
Prince becomes the king. Paramount Prince wins the 164 Kings played.
This is the moment.
Welcome back, everybody. After a horrible winter, absolutely freezing, one of the coldest winters we've had in a decade, spring took its time, but we're finally back as we kick off the 70th season here at Woodbine Racetrack. We kick off a 128-day meet with me, Elisa Blow, and Jeff Bratt, along for the ride all season long. You know, Jeff, I'd say about a month ago, you and I were working a harness show.
Yep.
And we said, it just can't get here soon enough, and it's here.
It is, and it feels great to be back. You see so many faces that you don't see, and it's like our second family here, our second home. We spend so much time here, but I'm looking forward to seeing if we can carry the momentum from last season to this year, because obviously we had some breakthrough performances from some of the apprentices. Sahin Savachi, he picked up his first Sovereign Award as Outstanding Jockey. Kevin Atard got his first Sovereign Award as Outstanding Trainer. Can they keep that momentum going into this season as well? We have
Whoopsies.
That's a great start to the
first
season.
One.
Dropping the tip of my pen here off. But so can they keep that roll going, and will we get some other stars potentially emerging onto the scene as well?
Well, we have some new faces. And you know what's great about the beginning? Everybody starts with a zero. Trainers, riders, handicappers. We all start from fresh at the beginning of the season. Now, it's not exactly ideal weather conditions for today's program. We've had some other opening days in the past where it's just sunny and glorious. It's a little cool here today, 10 degrees. Looks like we're going to be in for some overcast skies on the afternoon as well. And 9 races in store. The feature race tonight being, see, we've been doing harness racing. The feature race for the day today being race number 9, the Starshoot Stakes.
Right, and obviously Mark Cassidy very well represented in that race. And also the big thing about that race that you don't have a lot on the program today is every horse in that race has been either winter raced or winter trained.
Right.
So from a fitness point of view, you don't have to worry about that too much, because you might be wondering, looking at the program and saying, well, why are the fields so small? We had such a brutal winter here that a lot of people waited to ship in. They just said, well, I'm going to wait till it gets a little bit warmer. So we're playing very much catch up right now from our local horse population point of view.
Well, then you have to decide too, if you like winter raced horses as opposed to maybe horses that have been conditioned here. But some of the horses that have been conditioned here are at indoor training centers, right? They're at indoor tracks. They're at places with pools, so they are able to get some fitness into them. The thing I'm looking forward to the most this year as well is seeing some of our great 2-year-olds from last season transitioning to the 3-year-old campaign.
Yeah, and one of the 2-year-olds that we're really looking forward to seeing this year is One Jab Too Many. We've got racing on the program today, because she is a striking horse, and has she now, we know she filled out last season, but has she now grown at all? So I'm curious to see what she does. And what about these barns that got off to great starts last year? Can they keep it going? Because one barn that did not get off to a great start last year, but obviously had a fantastic campaign, was Kevin Atard.
Right, slow start.
Very slow start. Now we all know what happened after that, but he looks very live on today's program, and tomorrow it looks like the Drexler barn's really live on tomorrow's card too.
Well, then speaking of Kevin, I think we're about to see the Kevin-Pietro Moran combo be a real big one here this season. It's so great to have Pietro Moran back in the jocks room. We know he was injured last season and had to take quite a bit of time away from racing. We are absent of Emma Wilson at this point in time, but she did receive a special Sovereign Award the other day, and it sounds to me like she's on the road to coming back. Yeah,
I had a chance to catch up with her earlier on today. She scared me as per usual, as she normally does, and she was just picking up her saddle. So it sounds like she's about to get on the Equicizer for the first time. So no time frame in terms of her return, but we wish her obviously all the best of luck.
Some other changes too, I just want to bring up as well. No Kazushi Kimura this year. We know he's going to stay down in California. No Justin Stein this year. He's here, but he's not a jock anymore. He's upstairs in a suit and tie. He's a new stew here for his new career.
Yeah, so brand new thing for Justin. Very much seeing what that future has in store for him. He's obviously a guy that had a very good career, and you know what? I think he just looked back and said, you know what? I've accomplished all I want to accomplish. He won the plates. He won the Breeders' Stakes last season. He's won a lot of big races. And now he's on to the second portion of his career.
Yeah, we saw him a few times over at Mohawk this winter, which was a bit of a, what would you say? Well, so it's a
learning curve.
Yeah, a learning curve to get to understand those horses. We had a lot of fun with them over the winter months, but boy, are we ever happy to be back. First day of school for Jeff and I, and we've been planning this outfit for at least the last couple of weeks.
You look a lot better than I do, that's for sure.
Alrighty, key races to look forward to this season. Well, of course, Woodbine Oaks will be the first big dance for the girls. That will be on Sunday, July the 20th. So we have a little bit of time before we get into the real meat and potatoes of this year's season. The 166th edition of the King's Plate will be run on Saturday, August the 16th. So a reminder there, and we'll remind you about that later on.
Weather
to
permitting.
Get your tickets. Hey, smarty pants. Saturday, September the 13th. That's a big day with these Breeders' Cup Win and You're In races, the Mile, the Natoma, and the Summer. The Breeders, of course, the third jewel of our Canadian Triple Crown at the end of September. And here's one that I'm excited to see. I know you two are happy to see it as well, Jeff, and that's the return of the Canadian International. And there's some freaky changes to it this year.
Right, it'll take place on the Bet365 Inner Turf Course, and it'll be around 3 turns. And the reason for that is the E.P. Taylor Turf Course halfway through the year will be shut down because we have to do some construction on that. The backside portion of the turf course needs to be redone. We'll tell you more about that though as the season does go on.
Yeah, we're not into turf racing yet, but yeah, you're going to see a lot of racing on the Inner Turf Course next Saturday, 1 week from today. Of course, the first Saturday in May, which means it's Kentucky Derby Day, and people very excited about that. We are really excited about it here because Mark Casse has a great shot with a pretty cool horse by the name of Sandman. You know what I saw that was interesting? We'll remind you about buying your tickets as well for that day, but what I saw that was really fun was that Metallica sent all sorts of swag for Mark's barn to win for Sandman. I think that's pretty cool.
That's a great picture too, because he was posing out of his stall and they had the entire crew there. Yeah, so Sandman, I think it's Mark's best shot ever to win a Derby.
Great. It's ours in a sense in the last little while, I would say.
Now some bad news as earlier on today, Tappan Street, I think it's Tapan Street, suffered a condylar fracture, not life-threatening or anything like that, but he's going to be off the Derby trail now.
Yeah, and then, of course, a little piece of news here today as well that's not the news you want to hear on opening day, but rider Jason Hoyt injured this morning in a training accident, so he's off his mounts for the day today. We don't really know the status of it at this stage in the game.
But he, last season, remember, he got hurt too.
I know. So, you know, we do have some rider changes that we'll remind you about a little bit later on as well. Now, speaking of riders and trainers and all that good thing, we want to talk a little bit about, you know, some of our best jockey trainer combinations as far as ROI is concerned from last season. One of the best is Sylvain Pion and Rafael Hernandez. Now, Sylvain won a ton of races on the grass last season.
I wonder if we even did that stat more specifically for turf. It'd probably be even better than that. But this is one that caught me off guard a little bit, was butting against Sahin Savachi. And I think one of the main reasons for that was a few of the riders that Paul would use, like a Pietro, like an Emma, they got hurt. And all of a sudden, the leading rider knows how good Paul's horses were, and he was able to have some success. Lauren Richards and Ryan Munger. Ryan and his wife actually rode in South Africa over the winter time and had some success. I was bugging Ryan about the fact he said it was too cold the other day. It was like 20 degrees, so it was too cold.
He's a great guy. You know what, too? They won a beautiful sovereign together, that team.
The Dresden Road,
Dresden Road the other day. Josie Carroll and Fraser Abley. This is a really cool combo that you're going to watch for this season. They've got some nice horses. Of course, they were busy over the winter months. Fraser and Josie both down south for the winter. Ron Sadler, one of our faves. Him and Rafael Hernandez teamed up for a really good year last year, too.
And you know, when you think of Ron, you think of those older horses, too, that he had last season that are now retired, and they're on to other stages of their careers. When you look back at the trainer stats, obviously Mark Casse, he hit his 13-year streak broken for winning a Sovereign Award. He won in 13 consecutive years. He was looking for 14. He lost it. I don't know if Jimmy's training or not this season, Jim Emerson. We'll have to try and find that out, but his stats were unbelievable last season. And if you're looking for long shot trainers, The one on the right did not surprise me. The one on the left did surprise me. I didn't think Devin had that great of an ROI, but I guess when he won at big, big prices.
Well, I think you better pay attention to it because he's got a number of horses competing on today's program and tomorrow's program as well. Here's some big days from last year for our jocks. Now, Sofia Vivez, she won 5 races on opening day. Now, keep in mind, she was a bug then. She's a journeyman now. Saheen Zavachi, of course, had a 6-day win program, and that was back on November the 23rd, and Rafi had a 5-day win as well on a couple of times, June the 16th, October the 27th, and December the 1st.
I think Sophia won the stake with Sabatini last year on opening day, right?
Yeah, well, see, I can't tell you because I was doing harness that day.
See, it just feels like you've been here forever.
But I know Sabatini did win the stake. I'm just being a bit of a smarty pants. Yeah, so that's a few things to look forward to. Now, something else that we've added for this season as well is we'll take a look at the stats at the bottom. Help yourself out there with some of the favorites as far as the win percentage goes on the turf and on the all-weather. But one of the things that we did last year, which was a lot of fun, was having Ernie Perry come in, our clocker, our head clocker. He's able to talk about what he sees in the morning, and he was passing on some pretty good selections last year as well.
Yeah, and the one thing, if you've been watching works on whether it's Equibase or DRF, is this main track has been very, very fast. It's been producing very, very quick clockings, and it seems like today was no exception. So the surface quickness thing, so on a daily basis, Ernie's going to scale up from a 1 to a 5. 5 is like ultra quick, 1 is like ultra slow. When he watched the workouts today, he said the inside was the place to be. Outside horses tended to struggle. And wouldn't it only be fitting that on opening day, a queen who won a King's plate, Caitlin Her Greatness, worked up a storm this morning from all reports.
And she took home some hardware on the Sovereign Award night as well, winning a big award there. So yeah, she had a great work this morning. I think for those of you who might have seen yesterday's workout tab, you saw that Patches O'Houlihan, our horse of the year, had a fantastic work too. Super fast with Sofia Vivez aboard. Now, as far as Ernie is concerned, he is going to pass along a couple of selections today, but he thinks that race 9 is the best wagering race on this afternoon's program, and that makes sense because the 9th race, always where we have a jackpot high 5, they're going to try to make it a little slippery for us.
A bit of an interesting story with Patches O'Houlihan during the Sovereign Awards when he was named champion sprinter, then eventually horse of the year. Bob Tiller said they didn't really think much of him initially, and then they put the blinkers on, just thinking that maybe he needed them a little bit, and he has been a huge surprise for them.
Well, he's one of our favorites, and we're really excited to have him back this season. Now, it's a whole new year, and what does that mean, Jeff? A whole new look as far as our show is concerned. Over the years, we've gone race 1, race 2, race 3, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we're going to change things up for the 2025 racing season. And this is going to look familiar maybe to some of you who watch some specific sports shows.
Yes.
But we're going to throw some topics out there.
Okay.
And we're going to go through the topics, and they do coincide with races. And then when we get into the actual racing portion, when horses are coming over to the paddock for race 1, 2, 3, then we'll go horse by horse by horse. But we're going to change things up a bit with more of a topic approach as far as the pregame show goes. So the first topic comes up in race number 3, and that topic is Fanny M. Now here's the other thing. The clock started a while ago, I just kept on rattling. I'm going to be bad about sticking with the time.
It's all good, because I don't think we need to touch on this all that much, because she goes now for an owner-trainer combo that I don't think it's ever teamed up together, that being Bruno and Bob Tiller.
This is brand new.
And it's going to be an all-out catch-me-if-you-can approach. She's quick, and you're going into a Hall of Fame outfit. I love that, and I love the fact you got a great gate rider. You get some very fast works. You're just not going to get a price, but I think this is definitely a key when it comes to like a pick 5, or if you want to play a pick 3 or a rolling double or something like that.
I would agree. And the other thing too is I would say that Tiller has a great shot to finish 1-2 in that race, because he sends out the 7-horse Sultry Sophie on the drop for the return back to the races. But he uses Sky Trinez. He doesn't use her very often either. So looks like maybe she might be picking up a few mounts in that barn. But definitely this is the first time we have ever seen Bruno Chicanaz hook up with conditioner Bob Tiller.
No visor. I think his live just needs a little bit more ground. I don't know if today's the day.
That's 0. There you go. Okay, so race number 4 is where we're going to head to next, and the next topic is closer. Now, when we talk about closers, who are we talking about?
Hard to capture. That's the closer in this race, and I love the way that she wrapped up last season. The problem is, and there's so many great tools now when it comes to handicapping, whether it's Formulator or Equibase, stuff like that. Just the fact that you can look through lifetime stats, and with Hard to Capture, And I love playing horses with angles like this. This is obviously a negative for her specifically, but she never runs well fresh. So she might need a race, but she wrapped up last season on a great note. And here she is highlighted for you right now on the screen. And you can tell that Sky definitely has some running here. And if you look at this on paper and you think there's some pretty good speed in this race, this is probably one of the better closers in the field. The problem is, Lisa, we don't know how the track's going to play today. If I were to guess, I would think speed would do well. That would be kind of my educated guess, but I've been wrong on more than one occasion. But right now you're looking for some room and not really able to get it at this point. But what I love is there's no give up, and Sky eventually does get this seam to kind of split in here. And Hard to Capture is eventually going to pull off the win. But this was a good race, being a good field. I mean, we know how good Tavoline was last season. Tempora finished in the second place position. I like the fact the horse is a six-time winner. There are some that are still eligible to face non-winners of 3 in this race. I just don't know if she's ready right off the bat. And at a low price, she might be a little bit vulnerable in this spot, considering her running style.
Well, the other thing for me too, I have her at the bottom for me. What I was looking for in this race, because I found this race to be really tough. I think it's anybody's race. I'm trying to find some stats on some horses that are going to help us out. And what I mean by that is, give me some trainers that can have horses ready off of the rest. And there's 2 in this race. Gordy Colburn, who sends out Miss Bobbit. He wins at a 25% clip off the rest. I know it's just from a handful of horses, but he does. And if you were watching last year on opening day, and especially over the opening weekend, you know that the Ross Armada barn was super live. They've got a horse in here, Mia Tormenta. So Ross, I think, is hoping for another great start, just like he had back in 2024.
And Safalo, from a horse point of view, runs well when fresh. Did win first time out back in 2023. So I'm going to go in that one's direction, thinking that she might be ready to roll.
And some others in here too, Jeff, I think are maybe headed down the QEW maybe later on, because they seem to be horses who prefer dirt. All right, 0 again. We made it.
I like it.
Next one we have. Now, I don't want anybody to be afraid, but the topic is danger.
Danger. And it's in regards to Dark Danger, because this is a signature red that sold for big money at Fasig Tipton. I mean, for a signature red to go for $105,000, that's a lot of money. Now, we love them up here at Woodbine. Now, the bad news is this horse so far down the States, it has not gone well for him. I mean, he has lost by the length of football fields. So what do we do with this horse here today? I think they're being pretty clever with this race placement, because this horse is Ontario's sire, they get into this main optional 40. This is a massive drop down in class for this horse here today. So I think we get a huge form reversal here today with Dark Danger. It's kind of now or never as far as I'm concerned.
You know what else makes me feel good is the fact that Rafi's on him. That makes me feel really good about him. And the other thing too is he's got a foundation underneath him. He was down in Kentucky at the Churchill Training Center, so you know that he's been training throughout the winter. And it's interesting, that maiden special weight he was in at Turfway, I know, he was in tough. But the winner on that day was a Josie Carroll horse that a lot of us are familiar with, Megalodon. And if you were watching Turfway or you were trying to participate in Turfway this season, you know how tough it was to get into the entries there. There were sometimes, hundreds of horses entered in on a card.
And that Josie Carroll horse came back to finish second on the Rushaway Stakes. The question mark is Deputy Daddy. Horse is good enough to win the race. It's just this barn traditionally does not win early on, that being the Paul Buttigieg outfits.
Yeah, I had a few people tell me that they like some Buttigieg horses today, and I thought, ooh, the second start off the layoff for me with the Buttigieg horses, but we'll find out. So that gets us through the danger portion of the show. What's the next topic? Well, of course, it's our Sovereign Award winning trainer, Kevin Atard.
And the theme with a couple of live Kevin Atard horses are long layoffs. Once in Clarity, that layoff isn't too bad. The big one is coming up here with Party On. So Emma Wilson rode on this day. I don't think she was supposed to ride the horse. I think there was some sort of reason, like another rider wasn't available, and she picked up the mount and just crushed, like one for fun on that day. But I don't think there was much in behind her, and now she's missed so much time. Now, she has been down at Windstar to get a little bit of a foundation into her. I think that's a bit of a plus in here. But I'll tell you who I kind of like in here is this Order of the Phoenix. Order of the Phoenix, traditionally has been in long distance races, but ever since coming to North America has been in 5.5 furlong events. So I think she's good enough in this spot. Again, though, it's a closer. I just don't know if that style is going to be effective here today or not.
Well, one of our favorites, Nathan Squires, that we always like to give a hard time. Well, he likes to give you a hard time. He's got a horse in this race, and that's bound to be true. Now, I did talk to him yesterday. He was saying it's tough because she's a 3-year-old, against some older horses in this race. There are some 4-year-olds in here. But one thing I know is that these horses are going to be fit. Nathan was down in Ocala gala throughout the winter months. There's going to be some foundation into this horse. There's a real nice bullet work in 47 on the 18th, getting ready for this race here today. And you're getting the horse at 20 to 1.
She will not be anything close to that price. If you get 10 to 1, you should be excited.
Well, she's going to be my long shot. My long
I think
shot
it'll
play.
Still be a price. You're not going to be 20.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But, you know, that's what it said in the program, so I went with it.
I know.
Race number 7 is where we go next. We talk about the winter race horses. Now, that's something we always talk about here in Toronto because we don't race over the winter months. We'll watch horses come from all over the place. They're coming from Gulfstream. They're coming from Turfway. They're coming from, Oaklawn, if they're Norm horses. They're coming up from Tampa. They're coming from all over the place. And you got to try and figure out if those winter race horses are the ones that you want to play here today. Now, Drexler has 2 winter race horses in here. One Brazero. Now, I think myself that he took Brazero with this race in mind. He claimed the horse for $20,000. To me, it looks like 5/8 is as far as this one wants to go. And you know the condition book for opening weekend at Woodbine. You know we're only going to travel 5/8.
Great setup here. 3-prong battle up front. You're able to take advantage of it. And the one thing, too, if you watched Gulfstream over the wintertime, Marty's main guy was Tyler Gaffalione, and I know he's hurt right now, but they won a slew of races together. So these 3 horses up front, they absolutely kill each other. And who's in the right spot at the right time? It's Brazero, who's able to pull off the victory in here, and here we are right now. So you look at this and you think, okay, that was for 25. Can this horse win against this caliber of competition? It is somewhat a bit of a moot point because of the fact the horse is winter raced, right? And the good news is that you got a speed horse in Miss Vai Yan, and you got a horse that's a bit more of a stalker / closer in this race with this one, and you get Hernandez. This, to me, is Drexler exacta to the cows come home.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're all doing this. Look, it's like Christmas colors there right now. We're all doing exactly the same thing here in this race. Ideally, you know, I think Miss Vai Yan is quite a nice mare. She was claimed last year for $50,000. You'll see that they're taking an opportunity to drop her in for $32,000. I guess they would have got back some of their money on January the 22nd, but you know, she still might owe them a little bit of cash. She will likely be a player in this race too, but it's the other horse, like I said, claimed for 20. 5/8 is as far as this one. I mean, you look at some of those 5.5, not so hot. 5/8 is it.
And Miss Vai Yan, she chased 20-4, 43-4
I
splits
saw that.
last time.
Crazy, right?
Crazy splits.
Yeah. She's a pretty neato horse too.
Yeah.
They're going to have fun with her this season as well. Up next on the topic list is our on-track feature for the day today, the Starshoot Stakes, and we're excited. We were talking about, you know, horses coming back that we watched race as 2-year-olds, coming back as 3-year-olds. One of them that, you know, probably made Mark's hair turn gray, and Patrick's too, is Winterberry, who comes back for her first start as a 3-year-old.
Good friends with John Green, and made his hair go gray too. He's one of the owners of the horse as well, and and Winterberry's got all kinds of talent, and it's just.
It's a mental
up here.
game.
I mean, how many times was this horse scheduled to race before we actually saw Winterberry? It was 2 times that the horse was scratched before.
I think so too.
And she'll leave the paddock early if it's anything like last season. And the thing about both Cassie horses is, and this is where I really, really wish we had workout footage, because they worked from the gate together the other day, and I wish we would have gotten some clues from that. But they're both coming off bad races by their standards. Now, they've both been freshened up in here, and Winterberry is a horse that's obviously very, very quick, and can also stalk if need be in Charlotte's Heart. You know, obviously had some great talent to be able to win right off the bat down at Saratoga.
There's some other stories in here too. You have Salt, who's actually making a trainer change going into the Brennan Walsh barn. Now, was down there for a race at Turfway. Now, many of us are going to remember that. She's a good-looking gray.
Yeah.
Many of us are going to remember her from the Kevin Atard barn, but now she's in the Brennan Walsh barn. She does get the services of Pietro Moran, who was aboard for that maiden special weight win.
I would tend to think that these stats are going to be somewhat similar because of the smaller fields that we're going to have today and tomorrow as well. And there's a look at where the horses came from. You were just speaking of this. You know, 3 from Turfway, 2 from Gulfstream, 1 from the Fairgrounds. We don't get a lot of horses from the Fairgrounds anymore. Steve Flint will be the one exception, but a lot of Turfways and a lot of Gulfstreams as well. And the average payouts, you know, it wasn't bad considering the fact that the favorites won at such a high rate. Because I think that's what happens. I think if these heavy favorites, if they don't win, you're going to get like a 15-1 shot winning.
That's right. And you know, Kelsey Danner is our one of our trainers shipping in from the United States to compete here today. She's got 2 in this race as well. I read an article in the Daily Racing Form about the horses that she's brought up. And this Brindy, the Irish bred, she bought this one with Robert Evans. They bought it at the Keeneland sale at the end last fall. So they paid some significant cash. They got a win off the hop, and now here they are trying to get a stakes victory. And she was in some stakes down at Turfway as well. But like we said, you can imagine how tough they are.
Yeah, and I'm really thinking I'm really hoping that Charlotte's Heart and Winterberry, they both turn out to be, what we think they're going to be, especially Winterberry, because she's Canadian bred.
Exactly. There's a lot upside for her if things go well. Let's go to the last topic of our first show of the 2025 racing season, and that's layoffs. So we're talking about horses. Today we're going to talk about that a lot. Horses coming back in off, winter layoffs, but then we have a few coming back in off of significant layoffs. Talked about the one Party On for Kevin. He's got another one called Sinclarity.
Named after Christine Sinclair, Canada's best female soccer player of all time. And I picked Sinclarity first time out, but you and I often talk about this from better psyche point of view. She took no money on that day, so I'm thinking maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree in here. I'm not really that in tune with what's going on. But she wins, and she wins nicely. Now, she's not the prettiest of moving types of horses in here, but she's obviously got some talent. She's able to win, and she wins by a diminishing margin. And after this, it led to a bit of a layoff. And now she gets on to the LASIX program in here. But as per usual with the Canuck Racing Club, they found a nice horse that's going to make some nice money this season and last year as well, being by Super Speedy, the late Super Speedy, unfortunately. But you can tell, kind of carries that head a little bit low to the ground, but holds off everybody at bay in here. And I thought it was a comfortable win considering the fact that the horse was wide early on in that event and able to pull off the victory. Now, the only thing is, again, Kevin did not have a lot of success early on last season. We'll see if that trend has changed. Now, he does use one of those indoor rings over the winter time. I don't know if that's the case with this horse specifically or not, but right back aboard is Pietro Moran, and Sinclarity is going to be tough to beat.
There's something, for me today, I feel like whatever Kevin's sending out with Pietro, they're trying to make a point. They're making a statement today. They're saying, Pietro's back. He's going to be hard to get, let me tell you. Like, if this kid starts winning a whole bunch of races like he very well should, he's going to be a hard rider to get. But one barn that's always going to get him is Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. Miramichi for me, and I'm scared of One Job Too Many as well.
Yeah, I want to see her, though. That very first time we saw her, she was a little bit of a pork chop. She came back about 50 pounds lighter next start, and Dale even said that he thought she could have, tucked up a little bit, and she did. And now we'll see how much she grew, if she grew at all. He
had a great meet last year, too.
He did. He is a very underrated trainer.
Yeah.
All right? And we've talked about that on numerous occasions, just how much we like his horses and how well they're sent out. He's going to have a horse in the stake tomorrow as well.
Church and State.
Church and State. Yeah. So watch out for that barn. That might be a big barn for the 2025 season. Plays of the day. First ones of the year. What do you got?
Okay, so my Brat's best for today is going to be Fanny M. That's going to come up in race number 3. Look at that slide dog.
I love
there,
it. I love it.
And the wild card is going to be Dark Danger. I think we have to watch the board. I think the board will give us all we need to know about Dark Danger. This horse takes money. I think that's a real positive sign. My multi-leg key is going to be Miss Vi N. I think she scoots clear in here. I don't think she has to go 20-3, 43 and change. My value play is going to be in the last race. I like Sinclarity, but I want to win some money so I can get some nice dinner tonight to watch the Leaf game.
Well, one thing that is coming back is Jeff and I picking the pick 4.
Yes.
So we're excited about that.
Send our ticket to the crew upstairs.
Yes, we got to do that.
Yes.
My multi-leg single is Fanny M. We talked about her. Now, my wild card is this Dark Danger, same as Jeff. I was trying to stay away from the same things as Jeff, but I couldn't because I'm just as intrigued on that horse as well. But my blow up the board horse is bound to be true. 20-1 morning line from the Squires outfit, and Sinclarity is my best bet as far as a win bet is concerned in the last race on the program, because like I said, I think Pietro and Kevin are going to make a name for themselves early, right off of the hop. One Job Too Many is a top selection from our friend Ron Gearkink up on the 6th floor. I haven't seen Ron yet.
Is he back from the pool in Florida?
Well, I haven't. We'll see. We'll find out if he has the tan.
Okay.
First of all, Jeff and I both went to Florida a little, and neither one of us came home with tans.
I had 100 sunscreen on.
Yeah, me too. But yes, One Job Too Many, a top selection from Ron Gearkink, and Sinclarity, a top selection from Doug McPherson. So those are the plays of the day for you. Our clocker horses from Ernie Perry. He's got a couple. Holiday Snooze. Now, it's funny. I've heard a few people talking about Holiday Snooze, just a little, if you kind of listen to what the little birdies tell you, there's a little chatter about this horse, and it is because of this workout with Daddy Has Diamonds and 48-3. From what I hear, it's the gallop out that was pretty intriguing. That's what I hear. But as you know, Buttageg, traditionally not a guy that you play when he sends him out for the first start of the season. But we'll find out if he can buck the trend there. Anam Cara is going to be a pick for Sarah Ritchie, and this is a good work. Now here's the splits of this one. 24-2, home in 24, out in a minute, final 8th in 11-3. Now Sarah, of course, doesn't go away throughout the winter months either, but both those horses, now Buttigieg gets a little advantage because he has his own training center.
Now actually we celebrated one of his great workers, Ian Dick, the other day. Got the off-track Sovereign Award for the job that he does for the Paul Buttigieg outfits.
Yeah, really, really fun. Hey, that's a fun show, huh?
The Sovereigns?
No, this show, what we did today.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. Oh, yeah. The guy's been waiting for opening day.
Well, you know what, though? I've been missing Robert Geller.
Yes, me too. And he's going to come and join us after this quick commercial break.
Love horse racing? HPIBet.com is Canada's leader in online horse betting. Access thousands of live races from hundreds of tracks worldwide instantly. Enjoy the most advanced betting tools like AI Smart Picks and exclusive cashback rewards you won't get anywhere else. Join today and get up to $100 in free bets. Get the ultimate horse betting experience with HPIBet.com.
As promised, the what shall we call ourselves? The three amigos
That's it.
are together again.
Yeah.
We've missed you. Welcome back, Robert.
Thank
How
you,
was
Elisa.
your winter?
Beautiful.
Yes, well, you have a lovely tan.
A tan. I love the fact that I got a little bit of sunshine from visiting my family in Australia and a little bit of a stop in Hawaii, so I was very fortunate.
What a life.
And it was winter.
Yeah, that's
I heard you had a tough one. I heard
did.
it was really tough, so I was
it
pleased
was
to
awful.
escape it, but great to be back.
Yeah, really nice to have you back again.
Thank
the
you.
voice of Woodbine back. We're all back. It feels so great. So, you know what? Oh, hold on. One quick thing that I just wanted to mention. If you ever need to get anywhere quick, just ask Robert to take you. Apparently, he's got a pretty good lead foot.
I heard. Now, was it photo radar or was it a police officer that got you?
It was camera.
Camera.
Oh, no,
yeah.
radar.
Yeah,
Yeah, radar.
those
I didn't
are
know I
tricky.
had a
Those are
speeding
tricky.
fine waiting for me when I got back.
Well, you look like a total criminal, so I could see why.
I have that.
So
Gotta
speaking
pay.
of speeding, we're looking for fast horses
Yes,
today, buddy.
we are.
Yep.
All right.
It's short
So
distances.
short distances. They're all going to be quick on today's program. We want to talk a little bit about some barns that are going to offer some value as far as you're concerned.
Yeah, well, last year, barn that really impressed me was Paul Buttigieg.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul Buttigieg can fire late in the season, potentially early in the season. He's got 3 horses in today. I've always been impressed by how these horses represent value every time. There are so many barns that do, but I wanted to focus on him today because I thought of those he's got running, possibly the least value is the one I like the most, Deputy Daddy, who is in what will be race number 6, but, well, actually, that was a race where Deputy Daddy's first lifetime start, race 5, horse 6, was a phenomenal third up the rail. And the Paul Buttigieg Silks with the purple, coming home really well. Tianan is the winner. I was impressed because Deputy Daddy really finished so close to getting up almost to finish in second spot. Again, making up a lot of leeway in the stretch. Didn't really fulfilled promises the next out, was a beaten favourite, comes into this race. And interesting, Glinton Daddy's Eye was claimed out of that barn and is now running for Eddie Catrine. But I did like that run. But having said that, we've got Holiday Snooze in the first, which I believe is a horse that's working very well, and Shoot Amy later in the program. So I always just say watch out for value trainers who can surprise you, because especially day one, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter about this Deputy
Well,
Daddy.
Deputy Daddy, second time out, had the outside draw, and he did this. And he's got the outside draw today as well, so that worries me a tad.
And they didn't catch him on the radar?
No. You can go as fast as you want on this racetrack. So.
So you had an excuse, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so next thing you wanted to talk about horses you saw maybe last year, some you saw a few years ago.
Oh, a couple of years
that
back.
They're coming back,
I had to revise my thinking when I went, oh, that's 2023, and this was a horse called Party On.
Yeah.
I also liked Sinclarity, who you've already shown, and I must say that Party On, I mean, talk about having a break, but what an impressive win. Party On, we're going to go back to the 2023 season, and from the top of the stretch to the wire, Party On just leaves the opposition in rags, because Party On did just that. Now, how this horse has done in that interim, obviously there was a reason that Party On was off so long, but we are in the barn of Kevin Atard here, a horse that's flash potential, and now takes on a deeper field. But I did like this performance, and anything representative of this type of style today could be very dangerous.
I think that was the last time I picked a winner. July 13th,
Will you
2023.
Unbelievable.
Memories.
We want to talk about quality for today's program too. You know, these are going to start a little slow, obviously. You know, we won't see some of the big names until a little bit later on, but there are some quality horses on today's program. We talked about Winterberry and seeing her come back this year as a 3-year-old, and kind of hoping she's got that, her mental, all those mental boxes are getting checked off.
No, that's often the concern with Winterberry. Very talented horse, very speedy, but the run behind, the runner-up behind her, Charlotte's Heart, they had a rivalry already. And to me, they represent quality. Straight away, Mark Cassie putting in 2 outstanding fillies in what is a rematch, obviously taking on Shippers as well today. But the Glorious Song, this was back on October 13th, and I really like Charlotte's Heart's run this day. Winterberry wins the race in front. Charlotte's Heart of the Live Oak Plantation silks the red cap, starting to wind up. Had to sort of wait a little bit to build momentum, but the gain was significant, about 4 lengths behind at this point inside the final furlong, and coming down to the wire. I know Winterberry may have had more left, but I did think Charlotte's Heart was just starting to finally get the hang of it. And prior, I was very impressed with the way Charlotte's Heart had performed. So to me, these are the 2 class horses, and there are other horses who are stakes quality who are in today, and one of them is from Santino de Paula's barn, and that is Little Teddy. And I have to say, work tab wise, Little Teddy's work tab is super strong. Going back to April early, it was very significant, 8th of 111 workers, and then 47-4. But the most recent one, the Breezing, was the fastest of the day. So I do think Little Teddy's very gutsy horse. But Miss Vagayan's another who's extremely hard to beat.
He was one of the first barns to ship in too, was Santino. So he was here early.
That's interesting.
Get a little bit of a head start over everybody
So they're just
else.
3 possible angles. There's so many ways of approaching an opening day, but I think I look for quality, horses that flash promise coming back, and some value trainers.
You know, the other thing too, it's just great to see everybody again.
It is,
You know, and
it's
this,
like,
for
wow,
whatever,
we're back.
for whatever reason, this winter felt long. Probably because of the cold. You know, but not for Robert. He's like, wasn't I just here? But it does feel like it was a long winter and a long wait.
Cold is really tough. But I must say, it is a later start anyway, just a little smidge.
Just a little.
We're
but
right
it's
on the
still
heels of the
gonna be
Derby too. So,
well, we got to talk next week about the Derby, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I did have a futures bet for my mother on a Mark Cassie horse, just because I said, look, this is our track. Trainer.
There you go.
And you can do those Kentucky Derby futures in Australia on you just walk into an off-course betting shop, TABs, and you can do it each way, so win, place, show. And
get a good price sometimes.
So we got an audience out there too.
Well, hello to everybody around the world then that's watching
they'll be
us
watching
today. Oh, great. Well, hi, Mom and Dad. It's going to be an exciting day. Opening day just has that feel, doesn't it?
It does. We gotta
Yeah,
let him go, man. We're getting close to post time.
Alrighty. Get out of here, Robert. You got to go
Great
call
to see
the
you both.
opener
Great to
on
see
the
you
program.
too.
Great to have you back.
Thank you.
Okay, first race on the card comes up for you in just 14 minutes' time.